Get in, loser, we're going here. You wake up in the morning tired and you flip over and grab your phone, and then you start scrolling through TikTok for like an hour or so, and you keep asking yourself the question of, why am I so lazy? Why can't I just get my shit together? Why can't I just have like a productive morning and do the things that I said that I would in order to become successful or wherever you want to be in life, right? Let's get brutally honest. You're literally running on an empty tank. No amount of caffeine, no amount of, new planners that you buy, no amount of, let's say, podcasts or books or motivational audios that you like to hear every now and then. Nothing will take your nervous system out of that phase or out of that mode, because your nervous system is stuck in something that's called survival mode. Hustle culture lied to you. Society loves to shame stillness, and society loves to shame anybody that's taking a rest, for their body, for their nervous system to just be constantly, being productive, and like you take no breaks, no vacations, no nothing to yourself. You have this motto of, grind now, shine later. Sleep is just for the weak. This is all cool, but you can only do that for so long up until your brain starts getting so foggy, you're not able to think clearly anymore. Suddenly, you're not able to do the simplest of tasks, as simple as, let's say, folding laundry, replying to like a single email. Being exhausted, being stuck in this survival mode, it's not a flaw, it's a trauma response. No matter how many things you have put on your to-do list, you just cannot seem to bring yourself to actually do them because your body is stuck in like a freeze mode. And then it comes around to having a breakdown, and you keep going through those phases where it's like adrenaline rush, overworking, people pleasing, and then you freeze because you overworked so much, and then you start postponing things on your to-do list, and then that pushes you into a phase of feeling guilty because you haven't done enough. You say yes to everything, to plans that you make, extra work or whatnot, and then suddenly you're not able to do them. This is just your body doing these moves on you because this is the way that it learned to protect itself from being under too much stress for too long. This is the way that it learned that this is the norm. This is what's gonna make you feel safe. I remember I used to be in this phase of my life. It wasn't actually too long ago. It was literally just like a couple months back when I was working in corporate. I used to work like till really late in my job. I basically reached a point of, disassociating with everything. I felt so numb. Let's say I would go to bed 12. I would literally not be able to fall asleep up until maybe 2 or 3 a.m. because my brain was just so awake and so alert the entire time. I was not able to just rest and shut off, basically. I distract myself from all this by scrolling through TikTok, especially that blue light of your phone. It just keeps you more awake and more alert, and your brain cannot tell the difference between daytime and then nighttime. And I just wake up the next morning feeling so tired. Obviously, I'm not even getting enough sleep, thinking that I can magically run on 6 hours of sleep. And I remember I literally started going into therapy, and I asked my therapist, I'm like, why do I feel this way? Why is it that I feel overwhelmed now? Even when I have been doing it for so long, I've been doing, lots of overtime at work, why can't I focus? Why can't I concentrate like before? And then she just looked me dead in the eye and she went, it's exactly like a smoker's lung. You think at first that your lungs are not gonna get affected, and what if you can just push it a little bit more? After a couple of years of smoking, your lungs are just not the same way that they are before, and you wonder now, oh well, I've been able to do it for so long, why can't I just do it for a little bit longer, right? And that honestly changed my perspective so much. You realize that you've been taking your body for granted for so long. You need to stop feeling like rest is like a reward. Treat it more like a rehab, let's say, okay? We have been told that rest, it's like a luxury. 9 hours of sleep, it's like a luxury, right? In fact, women need more sleep than men because men run on a 24-hour cycle, right? We run on a 28-day cycle. Sleep, it's literally like a maintenance for your brain, because that's also one thing my therapist told me. If you don't sleep enough, your brain will not have that reset that it does when you sleep. And then that's why you wake up feeling like your brain is foggy and you cannot think straight. So you ask yourself, what's the takeaway on this, right? You have to regulate your nervous system. This is literally the most important thing in order to fix your sleep, in order to fix your focus, your concentration, the way you look even. I literally used to look dead. Like under my eyes were Prada bags. They just wouldn't go. I've been getting a lot more into yoga recently. I've been doing it for like, let's say the past 3 or 4 months consistently, you teach your body how to feel safe again. It really helps with releasing that, tension after doing it for a couple of times. You start to realize that your body feels a little bit lighter. Another thing that really helped me is that I learned to take it slow on myself. Treat your body like it has literally been on emergency mode. You know when they tell you if you're in a really bad mental state, you need to treat yourself as if you were sick. You need to literally rest. You need to stay in bed. You need to be lazy. You need to give your body that feeling again, because that's how you're gonna feel safe. That's how you're gonna teach it to feel safe again. Be more forgiving and more kind on yourself and on your body. All those things on your to-do list that you constantly keep putting for yourself, it's almost like you're punishing yourself. And this is also something that I realized recently, where just because I wasn't doing as much as I'm used to, I was doing that unconsciously. And then it hit me suddenly, where it was just that one small comment from my sister that was almost like a reality check to me. And she was like, why are you always doing too much? Like, why do you always have to be doing something? You can simply just be. You can simply just exist. It took me like a moment to reflect, because of this overwork and grind culture that, has been sold to us to be successful. You do not need to be doing things every single minute of the day. See like what your body is able to do. Don't try to force it into doing a lot more just because you are in rest mode. Especially also if you're having a bad day mentally, do not push it. Do not push yourself. Do not tell yourself, maybe if I can, just go to the gym and push a little bit harder, I'm just gonna, feel better. Because sometimes that makes matters worse. From someone that has been in constant burnout for like, let's say the past year, you are allowed to take it slow. Keep taking baby steps. Your body is no longer gonna be in emergency mode. It's gonna be in safe mode. You're going to teach your body that being safe is not being in fight or flight. Instead, it's being relaxed and it's being calm, healthy, regulated nervous system. Literally cancel out all of the voices in your head and from society, that bullies you basically. Stop bullying yourself also, because that voice tends to come from your, inner critic. Stop, believing the bully inside of your head telling you that you're lazy and you're not doing enough. Rewrite the narrative for yourself. You're not a failure. You're not lazy for taking too many breaks, even if you feel like they are more than you have ever needed. You're literally coming out of survival mode. You rewrite the narrative by telling that voice in your head, no, I'm not lazy, I'm just coming out of survival mode. I'm healing. And healing takes time. It's gonna be ugly. It's not gonna be pretty. You need to give yourself that time, You also need to give yourself the grace that you keep on handing out to everybody else. You need to give yourself the credit. You need to clap for yourself. And now guess what that does to your body? It's gonna be so easy for you to have discipline, because it starts feeling, a lot more like self-respect. Because you're able to respect your body and you're able to give it what it wants, and you are not working against it, you're working with it in a lot more healthier and regulated way, because you've basically given your body what it needs. And you need to stop measuring your worth by the amount of things that you're able to tick off your check boxes. Your worth was never measured like that.